Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel for some more Escape from Tarkov. So today I'm going to be talking about my thoughts and opinions on the new Tarkov patch 0.7.4, which became available February 22nd, 2018. So some of the biggest changes to the game include the P.A.C.A being nerfed from 60 durability to 40 durability, the fort armor being nerfed from 70 durability to 50, and it's no longer a level 6 armor value, it's now a level 5 armor. Noticeable improvements on the game's netcode and Peeker's Advantage, which has been one of the biggest topics of discussion for the past 2 weeks since Battle Nonsense created that video. So definitely jump in, especially on maps like Shoreline, and play around with that. The introduction of the SB47 helmet, which is a 25 durability level 4 armor. You can buy this helmet from level 3 Prapor, and it's going to be bridging the gap between a Kiver helmet and a Fast MT helmet when it comes to absorbing rifle damage. To be specific, I think this is going to be a direct counter to players who use 7.62x39 HP rounds. And a new change just this morning, the Kiver helmet is now available at level 2 skier. That has been one of the most requested changes to the trade system for a lot of people. And just like all the other armor in the game, the Fast MT has also received a durability nerf. The night vision optic that can be fitted on the AK, the VAL, and the VSS, although when you use it on the VAL and the VSS, or at least the VAL anyway, you have to actually fold the buttstock back to get a really good image. If you're using this without the folded buttstock, then the optic is a little bit off, but on the AKs it sits just fine. But speaking of the VAL and the VSS, there's also an MOE adapter which can be purchased from the mechanic. I believe it's mechanic level 4 who sells it. And that also goes for the mechanic trader, one of the newest traders to the game, and he's also now the best at repairing weapons and armor. He'll repair at a higher value at a greater cost. The mechanic also gives you rubles whenever you sell items to him, but you have to buy everything with euros or bitcoins. Which, and some of those Bitcoin trades include a thermal optic for 4 Bitcoins. On top of that, there's 5 new therapist tasks, and a guide on how to complete them is already on the channel already, so go check that out. And the 5 therapist tasks are the introduction to the mechanics series. So the mechanics tasks, to my knowledge, are currently not available at the moment, but they will be most likely on Interchange. Another gun glitch exploit has been patched out of the game, but there still seems to be one that's being used with pistols, so just keep that in mind. There's also been noticeable improvements on Shoreline with its overall FPS and desync, although it's still present from time to time, but it has been noticeably improved. Also improvements on the Scav AI and how they move throughout the environment, hunting down gunshots and whenever they aim at their targets. 9mm has been buffed on how much damage it applies to armor, but the exact numbers still remain to be calculated. Noticeable change in point shooting accuracy, which is big. It's going to be affecting a lot of players just like me. Sway is now counted while firing from the shoulder, and you can no longer hold your breath while point firing. You have to ADS to get that feature. Loot spawns have been adjusted for certain weapons. One confirmed example is the RSAS can now spawn in East 222 on the bed with the VSS. The Bitcoin value has been overall reduced, and the dog tag value has been reduced by 30%. To read an entire list of all the bug fixes and the changes to the game, I'll include a link in the description box below. Those were the most important changes, in my opinion, that I wanted to make you guys aware of right away. So with all of the significant changes to the game out of the way, now let's kind of talk about my opinion on it actually playing. I got about 7 hours on the patch yesterday, and at first, sadly, North America players were connecting to EU players, which was throwing everybody off. But it was sorted out shortly after, and after that, I didn't really notice any significant desync during any of my firefights. In fact, there were times where I would go around a corner and instantly die, in a situation where I normally probably would have at least attempted to land a headshot. So with that being said, Peeker's Advantage has definitely been nerfed, which is what I mentioned earlier. So ultra aggressive players like myself, we've been nerfed, so you might have to adjust your play style a little bit, slow things down, peek corners a little bit more before you actually run out into a hallway. Now, I'm going to be getting a lot of questions on my thoughts on the Glock, and the amount of attachments for the Glock is amazing. I don't care what anybody says. There's a few people complaining that they added too many, but no. There should be as many attachments attachments for all the guns as the developers wish to add. There is some really cool Glock builds, and you can actually pre-buy certain Glock builds with a single Bitcoin. But I believe you're kind of getting, like, you're not getting the maximum value. Like, if you trade in the Bitcoin to Therapist, convert those rubles into euros, and then use that to buy the attachments, you'll probably save some money. But if you're lazy, like me, and you just want to grab a quick Glock build, then that's going to be for you. You can also buy a thermal optic with 4 Bitcoins, which is kind of cool too. But again, I think you're better off trading the Bitcoins and then doing the same thing, buying the thermal on your own. I only used the Glock a few times. It seemed to work great. I was actually killed while wearing a level 4 helmet by a player in the factory. He fired about 5 rounds out of the Glock into the new helmet, which is only 25 durability, and it killed me. So I think 9mm to, like, correct me if I'm wrong, because I probably could be wrong, because I'm only going off of my experience with it so far. But it seems like the damage to armor has been increased, not necessarily the penetration rate. So you'll be destroying the armor and then killing your enemy faster, rather than trying to get at least one shot through the armor while the armor keeps its durability value, if that makes any sense. So my opponent was able to completely destroy my helmet faster than I can destroy his kiver, because I also put a lot of shots point blank into the kiver helmet. So that brings up an interesting debate. I think the kiver is overall better if you're expecting to fight against people using shotguns and pistols, but the level 4 helmet, the SB47, is better if you're going up against players using standard ammunition for AKs, right? Or hollow points or SPs. So yeah, it's definitely balanced, and it's going to be interesting to see what you guys have to say. Kiver or SB47? There seems to be a mix in the community, which is great. I love it. I mean, Fast MT is still going to be the king of helmets for a little while, but yeah, really cool addition. Of course, the SB47 can be fitted with a night vision, and it also has a side rail on the helmet, maybe for future flashlights. So that would be kind of cool. But getting back to the Glock with the drum mags, again, it's just a pistol, so keep that in mind. You're still going to be struggling if you go up against somebody with like an M4. It's not going to be able to completely kill somebody, but like that. But it is a good sidearm. The only thing that I can really complain about is the pricing. I think 350 euros is a little expensive. I think the developers could dial that down to 225 euros. That seems to make a little bit more sense, especially in comparison to the Garroch in the P226. It is just far overpriced. I know it's a cool new weapon, but it is just a sidearm. So I want to use the Glock, but I want to use the Glock as my secondary while I'm running something more expensive without feeling like I'm burning a hole in my pocket, like losing more money when I die, if that makes any sense.
Now, I know what you guys are going to say, but it's no longer 350 euros. And you're right. I actually recorded that this morning, and it has actually been nerfed to 240 euros. So I sort of got my wish. So the Glock is a lot more economically viable now than it was yesterday.
The new tasks were also really simple, like very simple and very standard for Escape from Tarkov, other than the last task, which is what I'm currently on, finding gunpowder. So if you've not watched my videos yet on tasks, if you find gunpowder, keep it. Do not sell it. You need 3 of them. So you'll need it for the final task. And eventually, you'll have to complete that task to introduce yourself to the mechanic to earn reputation for the mechanic. So when they add reputation requirements for Peacekeeper and the mechanic, that's going to be a really interesting change to the game that I'm sort of excited about, but also interesting to see how the casual players are going to react, because I find a lot of the casual guys, which is a important voice and a significant part of the Escape from Tarkov community, have been complaining about the tasks already being a little bit too grindy. So right now you guys can level your Peacekeeper and mechanic and get access to all the cool stuff, but in the future tasks are sort of inevitable and you're going to have to complete them. So it's a good idea to learn them now, so whenever there's a new wipe, you can just get them up and leveled up more efficiently and faster. And they are kind of fun. If you read through the quest text, you learn a little bit of the story, the banter between the traders. It's cool, so I recommend it. So it's still early days, but that's basically everything. I don't believe I'm forgetting anything just yet. So what you guys can expect on the channel over the next couple of days is definitely a Glock breakdown. I'm sure there's going to be another, like, other content creators that get there before me, but I do plan on creating a spreadsheet with all of the attachments, the good ones, the bad, breaking down their ergonomics and recoil. That's going to be a bonus to the actual video themselves, and then showing you guys each individual attachment, and then a few like cool builds. And also, of course, some gameplay and getting some kills. So expect that in a few days, because I got a really busy weekend ahead of me. As well as, I guess, testing out the new helmet. I would like to do that, get a couple people together, fire different calibers at it, and also just start using it and seeing how often I get one-tapped by weapons, which would be really interesting. And then also going to the factory with an MP5 with one of their new drum mags and seeing how efficient the MP5 is at actually destroying fort armor and fast MT helmets, actually going into those matches specifically to shoot those targets. So that's kind of what's on the books over the next couple days to the next week and a half. Of course, there's going to be just some straight gameplay and cool moments from PvP that are going to be uploaded over the next few days too. So anyways, guys, hope you're enjoying the new Escape from Tarkov patch. Thank you for sticking around and listening to my opinion on it. If you guys are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. It'll let you know whenever I make a new video. And also check out the daily live streams every single morning starting at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time and Sundays at noon.